As he has true moral authority, we will not obey a governor that tears children away from parents, demonizes, humiliates, and tortures immigrants. We are all immigrants. This is fascism.
Right. That's not accurate, but go ahead. You're an actor. You must know everything. But what does this actually accomplish? Here to weigh in is nationally syndicated radio talk show host Dana Loesch. Hey, Dana.
Are you insinuating? Is he insinuating that he was acting, Dana?
Yeah, well, I mean, he must be, and it's good to see you guys. Good morning to you. I'm just curious as to, first off, where was this outrage when you had Democrats that held House and Senate? And that's not putting it off. I mean, immigration was supposed to be one of their top issues, and yet even, let's not forget, during a portion of former President Obama's first term, they held a supermajority. So they could have pretty much run roughshod over any objections that Republicans had, but yet they wasted that opportunity. And where it comes to Cusack's statement that somehow we're torturing and demonizing immigrants, I would love to see some examples of torturing immigrants. I've been to the border. I've talked to Border Patrol agents. I've met with Border Patrol chiefs, and I was there under previous President Obama, and there were individuals, teenagers and kids, who were actually put in detention facilities. And those pictures, all of the pictures that everyone is sharing now and blaming on this administration, actually took place under the previous administration, and there was no objection by John Cusack then.
And you insulted hundreds of Border Patrol agents who aren't there for the money. They're doing it to protect the country. And I don't think
they're not there for the money, that's for sure.
Yeah, they don't get paid a ton. They have to live right in the area. They don't, there aren't the best schools in the area, but they sacrifice it in order to do it. And now we finally have money to get more. Can we switch gears and talk a little about politics? Senator Bob Corker, sometimes friend, sometimes critic of the president, went to the Senate floor to express his frustration at the party that seems to be firmly behind the president and for leadership who refused, in his words, to buck the president.
We're in a strange place. I mean, it's almost, it's becoming a cultish thing, isn't it? It's not a good place for any party to end up with a cult-like situation as it relates to a president that happens to be purportedly of the same party.
So your reaction, is it cult-like?
Well, who are they supposed to support? Hillary Clinton? I mean, it's kind of shocking to me that anyone would be at all raising an eyebrow over Republicans supporting a Republican agenda from a Republican president in the White House. But further to Corker's point, I have seen plenty of times on this very network, Speaker Paul Ryan strongly disagree with President Trump on a number of issues, including tariffs. I have seen Republican leadership speak out against it. They are behind the president's agenda, but they also will give criticism and try to guide in the right direction the agenda when they see fit.
Ben Sasse,
that's how it works.
Jeff Flake, on a regular basis, what he was expressing.
Exactly.
So I asked him this morning, what he was expressing is, I'm frustrated at leadership that accepting these tariffs, for example, where he doesn't feel as though they had a say in the president's tariffs. My feeling is the president's using it as a wedge in order to get a better deal for the country. He can't be trekking with, Congress every time he wants to raise the price of aluminum.
Well, and I think it's a negotiating tactic, and I'm willing to give, because this is what every time I think that the administration does something and the president does something, everyone kind of freaks out about it. I think it's an Overton window approach, and then he walks it back, and we actually arrive at a place that everyone is comfortable with, including members of Congress. North Korea is a perfect example of this, and wherein it concerns tariffs and where it concerns the discussions with Canada and other G7 nations, the president walked into this saying, well, why don't we remove these trade barriers? Let's get to a more free and fair trade area, and the countries that don't want to do that, maybe we'll talk about imposing tariffs. I mean, this is a president that's openly talking about having fair trade, and yet he's the one who's presented as the aggressor, which I do find kind of interesting as a free and fair trade supporter.
Dana, I don't know if you like it when you get on an airplane and a gentleman helps you put your heavy luggage in the upper barrel, or if you like it when a gentleman opens the door for you. But The Daily Show had a guest on who made an interesting point about chivalry. Listen to this.
I think the idea of sort of holding the door for a woman because she's a woman, I have trouble with it. I'm quite happy for people to hold the door for me, but I hope they're not doing it because of this sort of idea of chivalry. Because chivalry is really about the idea that women are somehow weak. Right. And need protecting.
So, Dana, she's the one who wrote the book, A Feminist Manifesto. She said chivalry is dead, feminism killed it, and she's happy about that. What's your reaction?
Well, 2 points. I don't think that she understands quite the concept of chivalry, which was a code of conduct for gentlemen, and also about supporting and empowering women during medieval times. Modern era, I think it's been greatly abused. That's number one. Number two, with all due respect to the speaker, and I'm familiar with her, I think it's a luxury of third wave feminism to complain about holding doors open for people, where her country, Nigeria, it ranks top in the world for female genital mutilation, which I think is far more of a disservice to women and far more suppressive than someone courteously opening the door for someone else.
All right.
All right, we'll
Wow.
leave it there.
There's really no witty
Good
thing
point.
that I could say coming out of a female genital mutilation. So with that, Dana Loesch, thank you very much for
Excellent
your
point,
insight.
Dana.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now enjoy your Cheerios.
Yeah, there's really nothing you can say.
Right. All right, it's 8:30, and parents are outraged because books on their kids' summer reading list are anti-police.
That's a wild one there. Plus, Steve Ducey live for us at Nationals Park. He was hitting before. Now he's like judging the hitters.
Not exactly, Todd. I was hitting earlier, but look who is